Guys, this is your DBA challenge for this episode. You would like to store PDF files inside the Oracle database. Now my question to you is, which data type column you will use inside the database to store the PDF files? Meanwhile, let us start the show. Welcome back, guys, and in this episode we are going to again take 5 more new questions related to Oracle DBA field, and as usual we will start our episode with the first question of the day. But before that, guys, many of you are sending me queries that do we also have Oracle DBA books, like kind of like ebooks. Yes, we do have. If you go to our website dbagenesis.com, and on the top right corner, I think for you, top right corner, it will be, you will see a tab called resources, and under resources you will see DBA books. So if you go to the tab, you will find all the books that have been written by me, and you can actually buy them and right away get access onto your mobile. That being said, first question of today's episode. I am always confused between Oracle RAC, Oracle Grid, Oracle Clusterware and Oracle ASM. Could you clarify same? Alright guys, amazing question, because I love this question, and when I was trying to learn Oracle RAC, even I had the exact same confusion. The thing is, Oracle ASM is related to storage, and I would like to skip Oracle ASM because we already have a great video about Oracle ASM administration session 1. If you just type it in Google search or YouTube, you can find the video. But I would like to talk about Oracle RAC, Oracle Grid and Oracle Clusterware, because these 3 terms are confusing, and we will first start with Oracle Clusterware because that's on the top. So what is a clusterware? You need to look at data centers, guys. Okay, even before we look at the data centers, first look at system hardwares, okay? Like we have servers, or probably this system that that I'm using. So there is always a limitation to the hardware, like this system cannot go beyond 16 GB of RAM. I cannot actually increase the hard disk to 10 terabytes, right? So every hardware has some or the other kind of limitations. The same way in data centers, we have so many servers, like probably servers with terabytes of RAM. But still, those servers are not enough for the business requirements of today's world. These days, the kind of businesses are growing, the kind of customer demands are growing, we need even big servers. So looking at the hardware, it's not possible to have a very big server, right? So what's the alternative? The alternative is, why can't we combine multiple servers into one big server, right? So to combine multiple servers that looks like only one single server to the outside world is done by a software that is known as Clusterware. Alright, I'll repeat once again. Combining multiple servers into one big server for the outside world, this process is done, or this can only be achieved by using a Clusterware software, right? This term is pretty clear. Now this Clusterware term is very generic. Generic means like laptop. So when we say laptop, it's generic. It can be any company laptop, any configuration laptop. When we say mobile phones, it can be any mobile phone, right? We didn't specify the company, the configuration, the operating system. Perfect. The same way, Clusterware is a very generic term. For example, when we say operating system, so we don't know which operating system, which hardware it supports and all, right? So Clusterware, very generic term. Any software that combines multiple servers into one big server is known as Clusterware. That's why Oracle Clusterware is like the Clusterware software that is developed by Oracle. Perfect, I'll repeat. So when people say Oracle Clusterware, it is the Clusterware software that is developed by Oracle. I'm just adding more value. For me to tell that, okay, it is Windows operating system, it means it's an operating system, generic term, which is developed by Windows. Pretty simple, straightforward. So what we have learned till now is Oracle Clusterware is the software that is developed by Oracle, and this Clusterware software can be used to combine multiple servers that look like one big server to the outside world. Now, the software, the exact software or the exact file that you download from the Oracle to set up the clusterware is known as grid. Alright, so it's like probably to install the Oracle Enterprise Linux, right? We download the ISO file. So we always use the term called as OEL ISO file. The same way, the exact piece of software that you download from the Oracle website that is used to set up the cluster is known as the grid. Over here guys, Oracle Grid and Oracle Clusterware are one and the same. Oracle Clusterware is like a generic term, but Oracle software, the software piece that you download to set up the cluster, the name of the software is Oracle Grid. You can actually use these terms interchangeably, like there is no hard and fast rule. You can always say like I want to set up Oracle Grid, or you can always say I want to set up Oracle Clusterware. Simple enough. Now coming to Oracle RAC. This is pretty important. Oracle RAC is Oracle Real Application Clusters. This is a specific type of database that is created by Oracle that can run over a cluster. Now we have a cluster. A cluster is like combining multiple servers into one big server to the outside world, right? Oracle RAC is the database that can run on a cluster. That means a cluster which is having multiple servers. That is Oracle RAC database, right? So you have a cluster is having multiple servers, and if you are trying to install Oracle database in standalone mode, the problem is standalone database runs only on one server, right? So now you have a cluster, but you are trying to install the Oracle database which can be installed only on one server. That is the normal standalone database, right? So for this, what Oracle has done is Oracle created a separate database. I mean, it's a version of the, or a feature in the Oracle database that is known as Oracle RAC, Real Application Clusters. So this Oracle database can be installed on a cluster which is having multiple servers, which looks like one big server to the outside world. That being said, Oracle ASM guys, I'm skipping it because we already have a video. Go watch Oracle ASM administration, type it in YouTube and you will find the answer. The next one is Oracle Grid and Oracle Clusterware are exactly same, and Oracle RAC, as I mentioned, Oracle RAC is the special type of database that is created by Oracle. This database has a specialty that it can run on a big cluster of servers. Cluster means multiple servers combined as one big server to the outside world. I hope that helps you. Let's move on to the next question of the day. What are the benefits and drawbacks of using RAID storage? So guys, benefits and drawbacks, trust me, benefits are more, drawbacks are less. So what is RAID, by the way? I mean, if you guys already know, but still I'll try to explain. RAID is like redundancy. So let's say you have one hard disk. Okay, forget about the other example. Let's take this system. My system is having one hard disk, right? So if anything happens to this system hard disk, the entire data is gone. So what I can do is, in servers in general, what happens is you have RAID concept. RAID is like redundancy. So what you can do is you have one hard disk, you can attach one more hard disk to the server. So now whenever you are storing the data will be stored exactly same in both the hard disk. So let's take the primary hard disk fails or crashes, you have another hard disk which is having the data, so still the server continues to work. For our normal systems and laptops, let's take if something happens to this hard disk, gone, complete data is lost. So in normal laptops, normal home desktops, we don't have redundancy because we we can take that risk of assuming that the hard disks will work fine. But in real time in servers, you cannot take that risk. There might be a chance that the primary hard disk might fail, and if that happens, you need to have a backup disk. Perfect. So that's about RAID. RAID means having redundant copies of the hard disk. Now coming back to the question, what are the benefits and drawbacks of using RAID storage? Benefit, as I mentioned just now, if something happens to the primary disk, definitely you have a backup disk which is having the exact contents or exact copy of the primary disk, so still your server will continue to run. So what is the drawback? I don't think there is any drawback. Actually, there are more benefits to it. The only drawback is like you have to maintain more storage, you need to buy more hard disks, but understand you're doing this for a reason, to protect the data on the server. Let's move on to the next question. Which is the fastest way to delete millions of records from the database? Guys, the first and the simple way is you truncate the table, right? Just you truncate table, all the records are gone. Simple, straightforward. But there is one more method which I think most of you, or probably you might not have seen this method. Even this was new to me when I touched this kind of method in the recent times. So what you can do is you create a table as the main table, and you use a where clause where you are just fetching the records that you want to keep in the table, right? So for example, you have the employees table. So what you're doing is you are creating another table, and you are having, or you're inserting only the records that you want to keep, and the main table is having all the records probably that you can delete. So now, as you have created the table as the main table using a where clause where you are only keeping the records that you want to keep, then what you can do is you can truncate or drop the main table, and then this new table which is having the records that you want to keep, you just rename this table. This is the shortest and fastest method, but there is one issue with this kind of method. Not everyone can use this method. The reason is, as you are like renaming the table, definitely there might be indexes on the table, there might be constraints, foreign keys and other stuff. So this method you can only use when you are aware of, like, okay, you don't have much of the indexes or constraints or foreign keys or other issues, right? So if you have, still you have to put the indexes into unusable state, you have to disable the constraints, then probably you can enable them back after performing this create table as with where clause where you just want to keep the records. So two fastest method. First is the truncate table, but I'm not sure if this question is asking like deleting all the millions of records or deleting millions of records which are part of billions of records, probably. So to truncate the entire table, definitely this is the fastest method. But if you want to keep some records and delete millions of records, then the best part is create table as, use the where clause where you just want to keep the records from the main table, keep those records, delete the main table. I mean, you will have to probably recreate the indexes or enable the constraints. I hope you get the point. That being said, let's move on to the next question. If I purchase Oracle Enterprise Edition, do I need to take separate license for Oracle Enterprise Manager 13c? Of course. Do you think Oracle will give it free to you? No. Oracle is probably one of the most costliest databases in the world. So for Oracle database, even if you have Enterprise Edition, trust me guys, you will have to purchase a license for advanced compression as well. You will also have to purchase license for the Active Data Guard. Nothing is free with Oracle, at least. So you're talking about one database, and over here, like Oracle Enterprise Edition, it's a database product, and you are saying that if I have Enterprise Edition license, can I get the Oracle Enterprise Manager for free? No. The reason is, see, Oracle Enterprise Manager is a completely separate product, and this product is used to monitor, manage enterprises or set up reporting on multiple databases and applications in a complete data center, right? So this is kind of a monitoring application. But over here, Oracle Database Enterprise Edition, no, Oracle will not give it free to anyone, probably until you have a good rapport with the Oracle Corporation, I'm not sure, but still this is not free, you have to purchase it separately. That being said, let's move on to the last question of the day. There is no level 0 backup taken till now, and if I start incremental level 1 backup, will it fail or proceed? If it proceeds, can I use it to restore the database without level 0 backup? Amazing question, because I am seeing a question from backup and recovery probably after a long time. So why do you think that if you are triggering level 1 backup, the level 1 backup will run if there is no level 0 backup, right? Probably you might think that it should fail. No. The thing is, guys, with RMAN, let's take you have never taken level 0 backup, okay? And you are firing the level 0 backup. What happens is RMAN is smart enough. what Armin will do is it will still trigger the level 0 backup. You can do this as a trial. So what you can do is create a test database and directly fire the L1 backup. If you read the output logs, I mean, you can clearly see that it will be a level 0 backup. It will not be a level 1 backup because Armin knows that there is no level 0 backup taken anytime in the past. So all in all, Armin is smart enough. If you're trying to trigger the L1 backup without any L0 backup, Armin knows that it has to trigger L0 backup. Armin will trigger L0 backup. And now coming back to the second part of the question, if it proceeds, so we are assuming that it has proceeded, okay? So if it proceeds, can I use it to restore the database without level 0 backup? Yes, you can use it to restore the database because it is a level 0 backup, right? That's the beauty about Armin. So with Armin, smart enough, it knows like when to take L1 backup and when to take L0 backup. No L1 backup, but you're still triggering L1 backup, Armin will actually trigger the L0 backup. That being said, let's move on to the most exciting part, and that is the bonus question. I'm back, guys. And guys, recently what happened is I got an email and kind of like I wanted to share this with you all. So someone asked me like, Arun, can you give me a perfect resume format that I can put into the market and impress the employer and all? So guys, for me, if you ask personally, there is no perfect resume format, all right? What I would believe is you should actually, like, first of all, I don't like the resumes the way these days are. I get resumes for like 4 or 5 pages, which I don't like. Even I don't like the resumes which are having 2 pages, because I would believe like if you want to project your experience, you can even project that one. If you are a smart person, you can actually put it onto one piece of paper. So that being said, guys, even if your resume is like 2 pages, 3 pages or XYZ pages, what I want you all to do is you should always put the toughest activity on the top. Because see, whenever I am scanning through the resumes, first of all, I'll be very frank with you guys, I don't read resumes. I love to talk to the person. So still, if I have to go through a resume, and whenever I am looking at the resume, the beauty is on the summary part or the starting part, people will be writing, I used to administer table spaces, I used to administer users, I used to add users to the database and give permissions. Trust me guys, as a DBA, these things are probably low-end activities, right? Why don't you put up high-end activities on the top which has the weightage? For example, probably you can put something like this: I know how to set up the high availability using the Oracle Data Guard, or I know how to write backup strategies for multi-terabyte databases. This is one complaint that I have from all the DBAs. Like the resumes that I have seen, every time people will put low-level activities on the top, which is expected out of you, and that is something you should know. If you're projecting 5 years, 6 years, 7 years of experience, you should know how to add users, right? You should know how to create a table space. You need not mention all this low-level activities on the top or probably on the first page of the resume. So one recommendation for all of you is, guys, whenever you prepare a resume, try to put high weightage, or let's say if I were you, if I have to prepare my resume, I would only put the kind of biggest problems that I have solved for the clients. Because what happens is when you put these kind of data, guys, it actually starts, or it will create a curiosity in the head of the interviewer, and there will be a formal conversation. Understand? Or just assume like you have a resume where you have just listed your challenges that you have solved for a client. Probably you solved a performance tuning issue, then you set up a high availability setup for a client, and then you migrated one database from physical to cloud. Understand, if you just put the biggest things that you have done on just one page, have your name and phone number, trust me, the employer will get in touch with you. Even if your resume is like very short, just one page, still employer will have curiosity to talk to you, because you actually mentioned the most important things that matter to the interviewer. Now, on the flip side, think about it. Your normal resume, and on the top you're writing like, oh, I know user management, I know how to install the Oracle database. Sorry, but it does not impress me. For me, if you are coming for an interview or if you want to prepare a resume that I like, I would suggest just prepare it for one page, put your name, put your phone number, and then list the biggest challenges that you have solved for your clients or the employer while working anywhere. Even if you don't mention where you have worked, that's fine, but just write what challenges you have solved. One page resume, trust me, it makes a difference. That being said, let's move on and we'll meet in the next episode. Bye.